So I titled this The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly because honestly, I've got a few of those in here. And so when it came to trying to figure out how to make Funtime Foxy into a dragon, I wanted it to be more of kind of like how a fox would be standing for the most part, and of course just try to translate it into how a dragon would be perched on the ground or how it would be seated on the ground. And ultimately I came up with this pose for it. And I wanted to keep a lot more of a fox-like face for the dragon head, but of course try to mix in a couple different features. I changed out the dragon tail for a fox tail. I gave it some generic dragon wings that almost resemble like bat wings for the most part. I gave my dragon some ears, a little bit of hair up top, and then of course I used a lot of the colors straight from Funtime Foxy into this dragon design. I think for the most part, I think this dragon came out to look okay. So as far as the good, the bad, and the ugly, I think this one is just meh. It's kind of good, I guess. I do have one that I enjoyed working on a little bit more, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get to it, because it's actually going to be the last picture in this video. But for the most part, I think this was all right. I'm going to let this continue time lapsing, and just leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Funtime Foxy as a dragon.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it.
Alright, so the next FNAF character that I turned into a dragon was Glamrock Chica. I really enjoy Chica's design overall. I did try to go a different route on this image, and it's going to be really clear when you see it. Instead of trying to keep, like I did with Foxy, where I try to keep it more of a fox and just add some dragon features, I wanted this picture to be more of a dragon and add some of Chica's features into it, like her feet, her beak, things like that I wanted to put in there. It doesn't ultimately look like Chica. When I do render it, ultimately, I did try to push some of those like patterns on her legs, but I try to push it all the way up the legs of the dragon instead of leaving them like leg warmers for the most part. Ultimately, this art piece is a complete miss. For my good, bad, and ugly, this one is probably the ugly. It's actually the worst one in the batch, I think. But it is my opinion. You could think that Funtime Foxy was the ugly, or you could think it was the bad one compared to this one, because ultimately the last one I do in this piece is going to be my absolute favorite. And I think it's because I did it on a different day, and I completely went a different route with it. And when I was doing Chica, just sticking straight to dragon, when I was doing Foxy, just sticking straight to the fox piece, I think I found a better balance when I did my last character, but we'll see that in just a moment. I'm going to let the rest of this time lapse, and then I'll talk to you about my favorite piece on here.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that.
this is the art piece that I'm most happy with. And honestly, it's not good. It's not bad. It's not ugly, but I feel like it's great. And I'll tell you a few reasons why. One, I kind of approached this a little bit differently. I thought I would kind of go for more of a beastie, non-winged dragon. And I was trying to go more on the bear side of things for Toy Freddy, right? Because I couldn't do a FNAF episode without him. But then I decided, you know what? Let's try to go a little bit more dragon. So I ended up having trouble with the head, and I drew a little dragon in the corner just to kind of give me an idea of what the dragon head should look like. And then I put in some pieces of Freddy in there. I tried to put in his hat. I eventually, and you'll see it later, I do away with the hat because I thought it just didn't fit what I was going with a dragon with two horns. But I love the way that I was posing this, and I didn't give myself a time restraint, kind of like what I did with the other two dragons, where I was trying to knock them both out in about 2 hours. And I was trying to knock those out by not even bothering to incorporate a background. But I felt like when it came to Toy Freddy and the design I was going with, I kind of just threw everything out the window and I just started to draw, and I lost myself in the art. And I think it shows, that this is more me. So when I created the first pose, I was like, well, he looks like he's going to be climbing on a cliff of some sort. And so I made sure to incorporate a cliff, some rocks, things like that. And I knew I needed to put some background elements to it. I couldn't just leave it like the first two that didn't have a background. The thing that I'm most happy with happens when I start to render and color in my Toy Freddy dragon. I start putting in a gradient into the scales on his stomach. And then from there, I was like, ooh, this is looking really good, because I started thinking about where the light source was. And then I start putting gradients in his body and his face, and it started coming out perfectly. And then I realized, well, because I'm doing the gradients here, and I know I want to render him out and flush him out fully to the best of my ability, I knew how to do the same thing to the environment around him. And so you'll see me kind of putting in some textures into the cliff, into the rocks. I start putting cracks. I start to do the grass or the forest grass in the background, and try to make sure that I'm like kind of cell shading those in a sense. I do the mountains in the background, and I think everything kind of blends in really nicely. He starts off looking a little dark, but I do make some layer adjustments near the end of it. But ultimately, I am so satisfied with this piece, and I can't wait for you guys to see the entire process of me going from start to finish on this one. I really want to know what your opinions are down below in the comments about this Toy Freddy as a dragon, because I think because I rendered it the way that I did my spectator for my D&D monster art piece over the summer. I was really happy, and this just blew my mind. It just makes me feel like I'm finally pushing myself a little bit further in art, especially digitally, to where I want it to go. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to let the rest of this time lapse, and then I'll talk to you guys in the closing.
Break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
All right, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. I really enjoyed turning these FNAF characters into dragons. If you think I should turn something else into dragons, leave it in the comments down below. I'm really excited to see if I can challenge myself even further. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really excited to have you guys along with me on my art journey. I'll see you all next Tuesday for a regularly scheduled video, and it's going to be a good one because I'm bringing back the S-Verse Chronicles, and it's going to be the escape from Supermax. So I'm super excited about that, and I'll see you guys then. You guys all take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Bye-bye.